Tough start to the day. Look what I got this week. I got an emoji stress ball so I could just squeeze the shit out of it when I get mad.
Hmm.
How you doing, Dan Goodsell? You good?
Don't need an emojis. I have a. Where's my stress ball? My stress ball's a tomato.
You got a tomato? Love that.
Where is that?
Oh boy, you lost your stress ball.
Oh.
You're so mad.
There it is. They're giving these away. Where were they giving these away? Oh, this is from Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, that checks out. What do you mean? Well, at like Comic-Con or something?
Something like that.
All right. Oh, you put a little smiley face on it.
You're like, die, die, die!
Hey, watch him with Dan and Tony. Hey, watch him with Dan and Tony. It's like watching, yeah.
Fresh-o-meter this. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Dan, what's going on? I haven't seen you in a hot minute.
They didn't want to give that Indiana Jones movie any money. La 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 la.
Which is weird because everyone that sees it really likes it, it turns out. So I guess they burned all the goodwill last time, and now they finally made a good movie. No one wants to see it.
I just don't think people want to go to movies.
I mean, that does seem to be true. I want to go to movies. I mean, The Flash. Oof, boy, The Flash bombed hard.
The Flash bombed hard. Indiana Jones is like medium bombing.
Yeah.
They were like, all we got left is Barbie and Mission Impossible and.
I mean, I Mission Impossible's got to make money.
Mission Impossible's going to do fine, but will it do the same money Top Gun did? I don't know.
No, probably not. Probably not even the same money that the last one made in the pandemic. So I don't know. I don't know, man. What's going on?
Oh,
I guess it's all over.
Your sound is out of sync with me.
My sound is out of sync. What?
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm sure it's fine. Fix it in post. That's what the kids say.
Sure, that's what the kids say. So there weren't giraffes? There were no giraffes?
No giraffes. I mean, giraffes were there, but they weren't feeding, and she's dead set on feeding giraffes. So it's been a tough birthday weekend. All right.
And then she had to go like that terrible concert, the Fall Out Boy, some horrible thing.
First of all, this was her idea. This was all her. I don't go to concerts, but it was fun. We did not stay for Fall Out Boy. We're too old for that. We went for the opening 2 acts, and then we left during the 3rd act. There was 4 acts. No way. So we're home by 8:30, ready watching the end of Twilight and going to bed early. It's a beautiful day.
Oh, poor Fall Out Boy. They were probably like, oh, where's Tony?
Listen, the order was weird. So the opening band was the only band we really cared to see, which was Royal and the Serpent, which is the Instagram I did. We barely made it. Parking at BMO Stadium is a fucking nightmare. Nobody told me that, Dan. We were in line for almost 2 hours just to park. And I was like, we'll go early, we'll get some food, we'll get some merch, and then we'll be there in time. We made it 5 minutes before she started her set, so we didn't do any of that. We did it afterwards, which is fine. So they played for a while. They were great. And then Newfound Glory came on, which is a blast from the past. And it was his first concert back from beating cancer.
Oh.
I mean, he's like 75% clear, I guess, which I think is good, but not, perfect.
Fighting cancer to a standstill.
Yeah. And then Bring Me the Horizon was the next band, which is like a screamo band, and I don't know why they were at this concert. So then we just left. We're like, we can't sit through it 45 minutes of this shit.
Screamo?
Yeah. So
there's like they're like Korn,
but poppier. It's like Korn vocals, but with pop music behind, like pop punk behind it. I don't like it. It's not for me. So we left. Yeah. So we bounced, and we're like, it's not worth it just to see Fall Out Boy, to sit through this bullshit. So it was good. It was a good night.
Good.
How are you? You went and saw, I assume we'll talk about it later, but you went and saw Asteroid City, I see. Or you went to Asteroid City? I was a little confused.
Both.
I love both. Bit of both.
No, they had like the Asteroid City experience at the theater on
Oh.
Sunset. So they had like,
Oh, yeah.
the great thing was we walked in there and I'm like immediately go to like get the popcorn and Shannon's like, and so there's all these little sets you can like take pictures and there literally are 4 people there ready to help us take pictures. And we're just like, we're old people, leave us alone.
Leave us. We're good.
So the movie's at 10:45. We get there like, a little bit early. I immediately go to the popcorn. She's like, don't get that. I'm like, oh, whatever. I'm getting the popcorn.
Getting the popcorn.
She's like, I'm ordering it. She's like, did you get me anything? Yeah, I'm going to order popcorn and sodas and not get you anything. That's the plan. Not to get you anything.
That's my plan. To let you sit on your own and me be gorging myself with delicious treats.
And so I'm like, okay, good. We'll do this photos afterwards. And she's like, oh, the movie's not till 11:15. I'm like, wait, you said the movie's at 10:45. She's like, no, they'll let you in at 10:45. Then you have a half an hour to do photo. I'm like,
to just do stuff. Yeah.
You didn't tell me this at all.
I've already got my popcorn.
And so there were 4 people standing there looking at us, wanting to help us,
Of course. Yeah.
And I'm like, no.
We'll just take our own cell phones. Thank you very much.
We see the movie. It's us and then 2 other people. So there's 4.
Oh, shit. Are you kidding? Nobody else came?
Well, we were there at like, 11:15 in the morning on Thursday.
Sure, but they had the whole setup thing and no one else joined. I'm sure it got better later, but still.
Yeah, it was just very funny.
Well,
so basically, there was as many people out there to help us take selfies
as there were in the movie. I mean, the good news is you got to do the whole experience at your own pace then.
Yeah.
No one there to rush you. That's great.
Shannon hasn't sent me the good photo. The good photo's like outside where they had like the billboard. It was really nice.
Oh, okay.
I have to get her to send me that photo.
I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, we went to Asteroid City. We went to the movies for the first time in probably 4 or 5 years.
Oh, wow. You didn't. Oh, that's right. You didn't go see Top Gun. Everyone saw Top Gun, Dan. That was the movie that saved movie theaters, and then they died again.
For a day. For one weekend.
It was like
movie theaters saved,
jolt
not anymore.
With the paddles. They beat it for a minute. Now it's dying again.
We should probably do this Twilight. I only have 4 pages of notes.
Yeah, I mean, that checks out. Not a lot happens. Let's do this, Dan.
Welcome to Hate Watching with Dan and Tony. I'm Dan.
I'm Tony.
On this show, we only watch Twilight movies.
Worth it. You know what? Yeah. Honestly, if we just rewatched Twilight movies over and over and kept talking about them, I think we'd have a bigger audience.
Probably.
People love these things.
Do people love these movies?
Yeah, I think so, Dan. Do you think they don't? I mean, they definitely did.
Yeah. Well, I was talking to Shannon about that. So we watched the 3rd Twilight movie, Eclipse. So now we're more than halfway done, which is
good for us.
A good place to be. You do not want to be less than halfway done.
Yep.
I mean,
100%.
Wait, did we rewatch the first movie? No.
We did not rewatch the first movie.
But we did it here like about a year ago, right? Yeah.
Yes, and I'll be honest. I rewatched the first movie just to get back into it because that was the second time I'd ever seen it in my entire life. So I was like, I should probably refresh myself. So now I've seen the first one 3 times and the other 2 1 so far. So we're doing great.
So we're watching Eclipse. So I was driving with Shannon and I was like, I wonder if Twilight is still a thing. I wonder if it is a seminal thing that you think teenage girls still go to Twilight before they're heading into Vampire Lestat. You think it's kind of... I guess
Vampire Lestat. Are people watching that? I don't think so. Here's what I'll say.
Those books, I know
the Anne Rice books are great. The movie, like the Tom Cruise movie, that was mediocre at best. Was that Queen of the Damned? Is that her too? I don't know. They made a couple. They didn't do so well. But here's what I'll say, Dan. In 2021, when the Twilight films were put onto Netflix, they all hit the top 10 and stayed there for a while.
Okay.
And there is currently talks to make a Twilight TV show. So it is still very much in the zeitgeist.
Good. I mean, because, you never... Well, I mean, whatever. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's just like, Harry Potter. We're going to be decrepit old men, and Harry Potter kids are going to be like, Harry Potter, Harry Potter. And
kids, I just wonder it'll be me. I'll still be playing the video games.
Yeah, I know that.
Wait, well, I was not telling people that on the podcast. I forgot. I'm kidding, everybody.
Cancel her. Um, you should cancel her. She's terrible. I don't know what my point is.
I don't. I mean, just that. We don't know how long Twilight's going to last. You know.
Yeah, you just wonder. You know, I mean, they can't. It's kind of like with James Cameron's underwater movie, Avatar. You know, how much, you know, that movie did great, but once again, how much did it move into the, you know, they didn't make Avatar cereal. Well, maybe they did. But it just doesn't, it doesn't feel like, you know, a zeitgeist, you know, a true thing that they're going to sell at the airport and sell in every gift shop that exists forever. You know, like some stuff
that makes sense.
Is sold everywhere forever. And other things are like, I'll go see that movie, but I'm not going to dress as it for Halloween.
Yeah, I guess the big test is, are the books still selling well? You know what I mean? Like if those kind of fade away, I feel like maybe this, who knows? I think they're still beloved.
Yeah, that's interesting. So Eclipse, the second movie, I watched the extended edition again, free on Amazon for me. So I was like, excellent.
Oh boy, I should probably start doing that, I guess. But how long was yours? Do you know?
2 hours and 8 minutes.
Okay, well, mine was 2:04, so I got 4 minutes extra. Okay. Is that? Can they really call it the extended edition? What are they at? 4 minutes of what? If it's not 4 more minutes of shirtless Lautner, I don't even want it, Dan. I don't want to see it.
2010. This movie made more sense as a movie than the last one. The last one was just like, hey, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. But this one somehow, it felt like 10 times more boring than the last one.
Yeah, because they had a plot, so they couldn't just bounce around just trying to entertain you. You know what I mean? Like, maybe that's the problem. Maybe they need to have free reign so they can just give you weird scene after weird scene that doesn't make sense. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm kind of into it. This movie goes along from A to B to C, and you're kind of like, can we just get there? Please, can we get there?
There's a certain point in the movie where they're like, the bad guys are coming in 4 days, and you're like, this is halfway. It's not minute 1 of the movie. This is like an hour into the movie. You're
just
like,
just have them here. They're already here. Let's go.
4 more days till something's gonna happen. You're like, and only
let
one
us
thing.
Train.
Only one thing. The training was. We'll talk about that.
We will.
Only one thing happens in this movie, but I will say, like, the last half an hour, 20 minutes of the movie, I really enjoyed.
You really enjoyed? I've got qualms.
I mean, it's like, this movie needed 40 minutes cut out of it.
Yeah. They're bloated. They're all bloated. That's kind of a theme. But again, this one feels bloated differently than the first two that we saw. It's just, I want to go back to less plot, it turns out. I complained about not having a plot, and now they gave me a plot, and I was like, no, guys, let's go back. This was a mistake.
So we start in rainy Seattle or Portland, someplace. Seattle, rainy Rainsville, I called it. There's
rainy Rainsville.
Who's there? What do you want? And then at one point he sees like a place where there's a bunch of people, and instead he runs down an alley.
He doesn't go there. He decides not to go to the public place where he'll be safe. He's like, you know what I should do? I should go into the dark corner. That's what I need to do right now. Maybe I'll hide.
And then he gets attacked and bit on the hand.
Now, 2 things that we have to talk about. One, at one point he gets thrown from one side of the street to the other side of the street into a window. The window doesn't break. It's the sturdiest window I've ever seen in my life. Usually in movies, people can be on the same side of the street, get pushed, and they go through a plate glass window. We love to shatter windows. This guy gets thrown 50 feet into a window, and it's just like, nah, it's good. I'm good. Structurally sound.
We're not taking that liability, insurance liability.
That's a whole extra stunt we need to hire. Let's just not do it, guys.
Now, did you know who bit him?
Not only did I not know who bit him, I didn't realize he was bit.
Because you didn't see the bite on the hand? I mean, it's really quick.
When they showed the bite on the hand, I was like, oh, okay. But before that, that person, whoever bites him, I'm putting that in quotes for your audio listeners, is running by him. It's definitely just a claw. Like, he's getting clawed. He's not getting bit. I refuse to believe this is a bite. But what happens is he holds his hand and he screams the most guttural scream I've ever heard in my life. This all he did, it's 2 little puncture marks, Dan. Why is he screaming so much?
Because he was mean.
It's ridiculous.
He's a big girl.
It was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
Now, do you think they intentionally tried to make it so we didn't know if it was vampire or wolf?
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Do wolves bite you? And that's because it seems to be genetic in this world, right? It's just the wolf trait is just kind of passed down.
Oh, that's true.
So do wolves just bite you and leave you? I don't know.
I guess we knew it had to be a vampire because we knew he was transformed pretty quick, didn't we? Because he was still alive.
Yeah, just screaming. I mean, he was very much alive because he was screaming his head off, just laying in the pavement. It was so dramatic. I don't understand. Other people get bit. In this movie, nobody reacts that way. Everyone else is just like, oh, I've been bit. Ow. I don't know. It's very weird.
Well, for the most part, nobody reacts to anything in this movie.
Well, I mean, that's true. Maybe this guy was just like, I need to make up for everyone else, and I need to extra emote.
Okay, so he got turned into a vampire. We're going to find that out. Now, is this guy somebody that you know from some TV show that...
He's not, but this, and maybe this is controversial. Whoa. Controversial, Dan. You might be upset by it. He is better looking than Robert Pattinson. Full stop.
Yeah, I mean, he's a more generally attractive, good-looking guy. I mean, like as classic good looks, he's better looking than Jacob too. I mean, Jacob is not okay, but Jacob's built like a house
without a shirt. I'm not even looking at his face 90% of this movie, Dan. This guy never wears a shirt, and I love it.
Yeah, it's like his face is he's a good looking guy, but he's not like he's not a catwalk. You're not like male model, click click click. But with the shirt, from here down, yes, magnificent. So he's the enemy, the bad guy. He's just this guy. And
he's just a guy, just another guy.
So we cut. There's Bella and Edward in their field because they have this one special field that we just keep on going back there. And then we get this conflict, and he wants her. They're smooching. He's doing a little bit of glowing. They really cut back on the glowing each movie. There's way less glowing.
It's the dumbest thing they've ever done, Dan. It's so dumb. But yeah, no, they do. It's quite nice. Good for them. Good for them realizing the mistake they made and reining it in. More glowing, please.
So basically, he's like, I want you to marry me. Then she's like, I'm not going to marry you. Then she's like, I'm okay. You got to change me. And then he's like, okay, I'll change you if you marry me. And then she's like, no fair. Marriage is just
hold on. Hold on, Dan, because there's a very important part in that transition that you missed because he's not, I don't know. He's a bad guy. Basically, he's like, I'll churn you if you marry me. And he goes, it's called a compromise. Ever heard of it? What a dick, man. Well, because you're 107 years old, she's never heard of compromise? What a jerk.
It's just, the whole thing of it, like, the interesting thing is, like, most teenage girls want to be vampires, right? And they want to be vampires.
Know. Do they?
Oh, yeah, they totally do.
It's weird.
They totally want to be vampires or date vampires or whatever because they live shitty suburban existences. Sure, and, their moms are bitches and their dads are alcoholics.
But Charlie's the best. Just saying.
The thing is Bella has this kind of perfect life. And at one point she lamenting, the nightmare of her life. And you're just like,
no, it's pretty great.
They kind of pitched her life being a nightmare at the very beginning. They kind of made her mom the very first movie. Her mom was kind of like, yeah, get out of here. But Charlie's always been I don't know. It's just they haven't.
Charlie is a great father. He seems they seem to get along really well. He cares about her. They have a good relationship. And then when we went and saw, I mean, we'll talk about it later, but when we see the mom, like it's a pretty good relationship.
Seems great.
What's the problem? What's going on here?
You don't understand what, you know, if it was just like I just want to crawl inside of Edward because Edward is everything. Yep. But they want to make her like strong and outside, but then you don't buy that she wants to become a vampire.
I don't buy any of it. Also, I don't agree with it. It's a terrible choice. She's like doing the wrong thing, Dan.
Like in that first movie, I felt her drawn into him so much.
Sure.
That she wanted to be there. But as each of these movies goes along, I don't feel the dark connection at all.
No, because her life, it turns out, not that dark. That's the weird thing. As you peel back the layers of Bella, she's like, oh, no, it's pretty nice. It's pretty good. You got a pretty good sitch going on here. Why do you want to leave?
And I mean, when he abandoned her in the second movie, you're like, okay, but he's there for her, driving her around. Jacob's there, like, paying her tons of attention.
I mean, she's getting her cake and eating it too, man. She's getting everything she wants. And yet she's like, you know what I want to do? Disappear. I want to die, be undead, and then live somewhere else where I can't see any of these people ever again.
Yeah, cool. It's really weird. It doesn't.
I'll tell you what, she's kind of an ungrateful biatch. That's what's going on, Dan. I'm telling you right now, if I'm Charlie and this is what's going on, I'm upset. Like, what are you, monster?
And this was the thing I brought up with Shannon when we were walking today. I was like, how do you tell your dad you want to be a vampire?
She's not gonna. She's gonna disappear, Dan. That's her plan. Just never see these people again. No explanation. I mean, it's gonna come up at the end because there's a pretty big, I don't know. But what a weird, she's just like, man, I love everyone so much. It's gonna be weird never seeing them for eternity. What? What? What are you doing?
And you don't, and Edward, rightly so, is like, let's take a few years to do this.
Yeah,
let's
live your life. Some time.
You're not. The difference between you being 18 and 21, physically,
is almost growing, nothing, right?
Almost nothing.
You'll still be smoking hot. Don't worry, but you can just be alive a little bit. You've only lived 17 years. That's nothing.
And then they don't really explain what the marriage thing why she doesn't want to get married to him.
This caught me out of left field when she's the one that's like, no, marriage is like an ancient thing and it's about paper and something. What are you talking about? You're so in love with this guy. There's no way that someone that is this clingy and in love isn't like, we need to be married and be with each other every day of the year. It doesn't make any sense, Dan. They just needed conflict. Stephanie Meyer was like, well, I need something here. I guess she just doesn't want to get married for some reason.
Okay, so anything else you want to say about that whole sort of setup?
I don't know. I'm sure we could talk for hours about this field.
So she goes home. Dad's reading about a possible serial killer in Seattle. And the kid that got zonked was from their town somehow.
See, this is where I got very confused because the parents are here.
Yeah.
They're talking to him at one point in the office, so they must be from here, and the kid maybe was visiting Seattle and disappeared.
Yeah, because he's from Forks. They say that later on. You're from Forks. You're a good Forksy kid. Don't be mad.
A good Forksy kid. That's got to be what they say. Forksy.
That's exactly what they say. So Bella's like being punished. She's being grounded, even though she gets to want. Okay, she has to go by 4.
She did go to Rome. Okay, let's not forget she ran away to Rome without telling her dad. So, yeah, she should probably be in trouble.
So she's all like, Dad, Edward's in my life. And she's like, just go see your other friends, i.e. go hang out with Jake.
Yeah, so let's talk about this first. I love Charlie's character for 99% of the time. Yeah. His whole thing, which I totally understand the basis of this conversation, where he's like, I just don't want him to be your entire life. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's like, yeah, I understand he's in your life, but have a little separation, still have your life outside of him, because that's what's called a healthy fucking relationship, something this movie does not care about. But then he's like, why don't you hang out with Jacob? I know that he's deeply in love with you as well, and maybe you should sleep with him. That's the vibe I'm getting from this conversation. I don't understand what's happening. Charlie is really pushing this kid on his daughter, and it's very weird.
Well, because he doesn't like Edward. So he's like, he thinks Jake's a much better choice.
Like Edward, but I mean, listen, I'm not a dad, so I don't know. Maybe I'd be like, no, don't kiss that guy. Kiss this guy. Kiss this guy.
That's exactly what you would do, Tony. You'd be like,
maybe I would.
Kiss that guy.
Maybe I would.
I want to think about that guy being kissed.
I would just kiss him myself, Dan. Okay, they're almost old enough, right?
Okay, so but Jake's not taking her calls, and so she's like, okay, I'm going out to the truck. Boom, she's driving in her truck, and Edward's in the truck.
Yeah, it's just
creepy and weird.
It's yeah, he is creepy and weird. Why does she like him, Dan? I don't get it. I don't see it. I mean, in the first one, I see it. But the more we go on, the weirder and the creepier and the more controlling he gets. I'm just like, girl, you got to get out of this. This is not okay.
It does not. It is a relationship that is not going to go well, because
no.
There's like a certain point, where we kind of explore, how thirsty they are all for Bella's blood, and you're just like, he's in love with her blood, not with her.
It's some sort of chemical in his brain that, which is love, sure, but this one's a little different. This is like lust, but for murder lust. What's that? Is that a word? Is there a word for that?
Sure, murder lust.
He wants to drink her, guys. That's what he wants.
Bloodlust. Yeah, and the marriage thing is just his way of tying her down to him.
Right, he's like, I want your blood forever. I just want to be able to nibble on it whenever I want it and then set you on your way.
Did that happen in the first movie where he had to, suck on her blood to, regain his powers?
Yeah, that definitely. Yeah, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, he wants her, and that's why he doesn't want to turn her, because then her blood's... He
needs to feed.
It's not going to be the same.
Which, let me just say... It's interesting. I don't know if I like it or hate it, to be honest with you, that all of the vampires are married to, or in relationships with other vampires. Generally in vampire movies and lore, they're usually with a human that they can feed off of. That's part of the relationship and it's not necessarily love or anything, but they have their concubines or whatever you want to say, where they feed, and that's their relationship. They're not married to other vamps usually. I know, it's weird.
And usually because of the length of time, vampire marriages fall apart, because when you're around somebody that much time and there's hot whatever next door, you're gonna do
honestly, it doesn't even need to be hot next door. 80 years is a long time to be humans have a hard time staying together for that long. You start butting heads, man.
So she's at school. The crew's back there. Alice is sitting with the human crew. That seemed really weird.
It's weird because I don't think we've ever seen her hang out with them before. Have we? She's just all of a sudden ingratiated in the friend group. I don't know, man.
And then Alice is going to throw a party, because we have to throw parties to move things forward.
Yep, we just need a different location to be all our people at. Yep.
And then Alice has a vision, and everyone knows when Alice has a vision, because she kind of goes like this, and then they all look over and they're like, "Oh, I saw a vision." And then they're saying, "They go over there, oh, tell me what the vision is. Tell me, tell us me." And Alice is always like, "I can't tell you right now. We got to think about it."
Dan, imagine being a human at that table and looking over at Alice, and she's just totally zoned out for 3 minutes as she has a vision, and nobody else is talking about it. That would be weird.
It's super strange. Now, what's her boyfriend's name? Civil War boy.
The only one I like. Why can't Lester? No.
Jasper.
No. Jasper. Thanks.
Do you want to talk about how they ruined Jasper in this movie?
Wait, what do you mean? Jasper's still my favorite vampire.
Yeah, but every other time, every one of the other movies, he stands in the back and it's all creepy and weird, like there's something going on.
I mean, they change him because now he's an assertive, I used to be a racist kind of guy. He's totally different from the first two movies.
Not just
he
me.
was like he was like the wallflower that said weird things in the first two movies, and now he's like the leader. He's like, well, now Jasper's gonna have to teach everyone to fight because he's the best fighter and he's a strategist. It's like, what are you talking about? Where was this before? I've never seen this before in my life, but he's still. I think he's a better actor than everybody else. I'm not gonna lie.
And he pulls off that accent. He brings that accent in just like really nice and subtle, and you're just like, oh my god, I believe this guy. I believe he probably had a stiffer accent when he was in the Civil War, and it's sort of
kind of lost it,
worn
but it's
down
still
over
there
time.
Yep. Oh yeah,
he's pretty good.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. Does he work? I don't know. I hope he works. I don't know.
As an actor, I was like,
as an actor, not as a.
Don't think Jasper has a job in the show.
Does he have a job, Dan? Does he?
Scooping ice cream. And that's another thing that we get to in this movie that you begin to think about is the vampires can just do everything, and so there's no limitation on them.
That is correct.
And so there's like really nothing. They're just driving around in cars. They're just a bunch of schlubs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, 100%.
There's no magic to them. Vampires are only out at night. We're always shooting them at night. They're always in night situations. They always got to run away. They have all these limitations that add to this mystery. But when you just see them all hanging around during the day in fields and shit, you're just like, oh.
Well, they shimmer, remember? So
no, they don't. No,
not
they don't.
as much anymore. They're evolving. How about that, Dan? Yeah, I mean, because they say, I feel like the reason why they do it less and less is because they talk about in the first one where it's like, we moved here because it's always gloomy and the sun is what exposes us for who we are. But now we just don't even care. Now it's gloomy 365. There are no sunny days. There doesn't exist in this state.
So Bella and I guess Edward go to the police station to see Charlie, and he says something
he drives her, I think. I think he just drives her.
He says something about the Volturi might step in because she's not a vampire yet, sort of.
Yes. Yeah, because they promised that they would turn her, and they haven't done it.
And then, boom, we hear about plane tickets to Florida for the weekend that he bought her. But she's... for a second there, I thought he bought 2 tickets for Charlie and...
No.
But it's for him. But he can't go on a plane and go to Florida. There's sunlight there. He'd sparkle all over the place.
That's why he's inside, Dan. Come on. Are you not paying attention to the movie?
It doesn't make any sense.
Of course it doesn't make any sense. It's idiotic. It's horrible. It's horrible storytelling. Why? How did he get into the house? You know what I mean? Like, is he wearing like a bonnet and like a winter jacket, some mittens, and just a scarf up to his eyes and sunglasses? No, he walked from the cab. The Invisible Man, exactly. Yeah, he walked from the cab to the door, shining like a fucking lighthouse, right? I don't know.
And what is he even doing there?
Listen, he shouldn't. It doesn't make any sense. She should be going to say goodbye to her mother or whatever. Have a good last time with her mother. It's so dumb. Already so dumb. But why? There's no reason for him to be there. It's dangerous for him to be there, 1. And 2, he just sits in the house and mopes. He doesn't do nothing. He just stares at her through the glass. It's creepy as shit. That's what it is. It's dumb. It's really dumb.
Mom gives her a t-shirt quilt, and she's like, Mom, I miss you. And you're kind of like, and you're going to tell this woman, I'm going to watch you age and die, and I'm going to be forever immortal and have no soul and be cold.
No, Dan, you forgot. She's not telling them. She's just going to disappear and never see her again. I miss you so much, Mom. But anyhow, I'll never see you again. Good luck with the rest of your life. Because, her parents are just going to stop looking for her. That's definitely what's going to happen, Dan. They're just going to be like, well, I guess she's gone. I guess that's it.
But I guess Edward brought her here because back in town, Victoria's coming to run through town, to run through the area. So I don't know. She runs through the area, and the werewolves chase her on one side of the stream. And
it's a horrible scene.
Chase him on one side of the stream, and then she jumps across, and then they jump, and then the werewolves try and kill the Cullens that jumps across, and then he gets thrown in the water, and then everybody stops to like glare at each other while she just runs away.
Yes. That's a great summation of a really stupid scene. Yep. So dumb. Also, dude, when do we want to talk about the new Victoria?
What's there, something different? Is it a different person?
Dan, yeah, it's a completely different actress, Dan. What are you watching?
She's like a hot redhead. I don't know.
No, well, she used to be. She's not anymore. Yeah, listen. This is Bryce. So they switched to Bryce Dallas Howard.
That was Bryce Dallas Howard?
That was Bryce Dallas Howard.
No.
And she is effing terrible in this movie. My God, she's such a step down from the original actress, in my opinion.
Is she in this movie? If you said Dan,
what do you mean?
She doesn't really. She says a couple of words.
She talks. She has a scene where she has a whole talking thing with the bad guy, the guy that she turned, whatever that is. And she's like, "I love you, I love you," and then they kiss, and it's a terrible kiss. But she's so bad, she can't even speak in this movie. She's so bad. I don't believe it for a second. The old Victoria was smoking hot, and she was great. And they got rid of her. They totally we tried to do a little research on the matter, and it seems like with the contracts for the Twilight series, they're only allowed to do like smaller other jobs so that they're free for when they decide to film these movies, which makes perfect sense. She took a job for 10 days, which is contractually what she was allowed, and they fired her. They were like, "No, we need to film those days." And she's like, "I already signed a contract, like I can't get out of it." And they're like, "Well, you're fired. We're bringing in Bryce Dallas Howard." And yeah, that seems to be what happened. Terrible choice.
You think it's trumped up? You think they just used
I think they always wanted to get rid of her, and I think they found an excuse, and I think they were friends with Ron Howard. They're trying to suck up to Ron Howard or something. I don't know.
Goddamn Ron Howard.
Some sort of nepotism, because she is infinitely worse at being this vampire.
So now we're back at school. They've come back from Florida. Here she comes back to school, and here comes sexy time Jake.
Amen to that. Oh boy, still looking good. I wonder what the timeline is. How long does he have to be this shredded? It's got to be like 5 years, right? In real time, not movie time. But I feel like it's half a decade probably.
So he tells Edward to keep your damn vampires off my land. He says Victoria's back, and of course Bella realizes that they're all lying to her.
Yep, which, big surprise.
When you're a teenager and you find out everybody's lying to you, how do you take that?
Especially your boyfriend, Dan. Not like all of your friends and your boyfriend are all lying to you and treating you like a child. You get real mad about it. You get indignant. She's fine.
Did she get? She didn't even.
Mad enough that she decided to go with Jacob on a motorcycle.
She gets on the motorcycle with Jake, and I don't know if this is the point when she first saw him that she hugs him. I think she hugs him like 2 or 3 times in front of Edward.
Yeah.
And she just does it to rub it in his face.
Yeah, no, everything she does with Jacob is just to upset and get a rise out of Edward, and it's real unhealthy. It's real weird. Real weird. Stephanie Meyer's got some issues that I don't think people are talking about enough, but it's fine, I guess.
So they go to Wolf Cabin, and we meet Leah Clearwater.
Wolf Cabin. Is that a movie yet? I love that title, Dan. Trademark it. It's trademark. You can't take it, everybody. Wolf Cabin. That's my new horror movie I'm going to write.
You should write that. And we meet...
This October, Wolf Cabin.
We meet Leah Clearwater, who we talk about more than we even see her face.
Who?
We have more... You don't even know who Leah Clearwater is.
I don't know who you're talking about. Who is that?
Leah Clearwater is Sam's old girlfriend... And then he met Emily, and then he imprinted on Emily, and then he
clawed her face. Let's not forget that part.
then dumped Leah. But why is this a problem, Tony?
Because I don't know. Why is it a problem? Because she's still there? Why is she still hanging out if she got dumped?
No, but is
she a wolf?
You're missing. Yes, of course, they're all wolves. You're missing the key point of everything.
Sam's girlfriend's not a wolf. The one that's clawed in the face, she's not a wolf.
But I believe Leah is.
I think, no, you're definitely right, because I know who you're talking about now. Yeah, because later she's fighting the thing, and then Jacob stops her, and then she's all mad. I had it, Jake. I remember her now. Yeah, okay. What about her?
all of the werewolves are telepathic to each other. They're telepathic to each other. And so
I have a different problem.
Right when they show shut up.
Oh, hold on. You go.
So right when they're coming out of the cabin, they're all like, "Oh, here's Bella. Jacob had a boner about you last night." You know, they spill the beans on everything because they live in Jacob's head.
100%. Yeah.
And so they like totally like say everything, and it's kind of interesting, but it's so weird.
It's not done comedically enough, because what it should be, and I think what they're going for, is they're kind of teasing him with it.
Yes.
But it's not. They don't go for it enough for it to be like a funny, awkward thing. It's just kind of like, well, you know, we did it. I don't know. We told her. I don't know, guy.
Well,
weird.
It's almost like it's only for plot. She's made them that so that
exactly.
these guys can
it's exposition.
Say, here's exactly what Jacob is thinking, and we're going to tell you that. We're not going to make him uncomfortable and make it weird. We're just going to tell you that
which
so that
they should.
Know that, and then the audience knows all these things.
Because if I had that, I would be like, I would make it so weird for both of them. And it would be great. It would be great fun for all the wolf packs.
See, I thought you were going to say you're going to make my life very uncomfortable by saying all sorts of things that I'm thinking.
I would do it. I would do it on the podcast. If I could read you through here, I would tell everyone your deepest, darkest secrets, Dan. Because one, nobody listens to the podcast, and then someday somebody might Google Mr. Toast and they find this, and then they're like, "Wait, he's fucked up." I love it. Anyhow, I would if I could.
Without the telepathy, they'll still figure that out.
Telepathy. Here's my problem, Dan. Because all the boys, the wolf boys, are all topless all the time. Why? Because you tear your clothes when you become a wolf.
Except their shorts.
Except for their shorts, which apparently are MC Hammer stretchy pants. I don't really know. I don't know.
They also always have shoes on too.
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. But she comes back and forth with all her clothes. Yeah, doesn't make any sense.
She has like a little thing. Okay, my point is, I don't get to see how hot Leah Clearwater is because I see her for a fraction of a second. It's like, give me a second to like absorb this new character. And it's just like,
meet them. I didn't even remember there was a person. You kept saying a name that I'd never heard before in my life. All right? I'll tell you that right now.
She breezes by so fast, all you know is she has dark hair. That's all you know.
Which I guess I probably would have guessed anyhow. I don't know.
And my other point is, I mean, I expect her to be a lot hotter.
Well, sure.
If you're going to have a lady wolf, you got to make her like the hottest thing on the planet because she has to, be like maybe hot for Jake or something like that. Because
is she not hot for Jake? I thought she was hot for Jake. I think I might have messed up this whole movie.
No, she's still hot for Sam.
She's still hung up on Sam, but she got so mad at Jacob it felt like a lover's quarrel. I don't know. Okay. Here's the thing, Dan. I feel the same way about the vampire ladies, though. I don't think they got any attractive, not unattractive, but let's just say this: Anna Kendrick, most attractive female in the movie. She's not even either creature. What are we doing? Make her a hot creature. I don't know what's going on.
Ooh, Anna Kendrick is a hot vampire. Yes, please.
Hello, casting. Hello.
Okay, so we find out. So we learn about imprinting, which is just becoming a hyper obsessed as a wolf.
Can you explain it to me? Because I actually don't understand it in this context.
Well, because the whole point is imprinting is when a werewolf finally just decides who they want to love forever, and then Jacob is going to imprint on Bella's baby.
I understand why they're setting it up. I understand why they're setting it up. I don't understand what imprinting means to them because all it sounds like it means is, hey, I like you. And then I've imprinted on you just by telling you I love you.
Then you can't turn it off.
I don't understand.
You're stuck.
That doesn't make any sense, Dan. It doesn't make any sense. Sam was in a relationship, and then he's like, you know what? I'm going to imprint on somebody else. See you later. That's just called like. That's just a crush. It doesn't make. It's stupid. It's really stupid. Also, it doesn't make anyone respond. Like, just because I imprint, what if you imprint on somebody and they don't like you back and then you're like, well, now I can never do it again. I've used my one imprinted.
You got to get them to fall in love with somebody else.
We saw that movie. That's a different movie.
Strange magic. You need to strange magic that shit. Okay, so Bella drops that she's turning into a vampire in a month and he gets he gets mad and he says, "Better you were dead than one of them."
Well, joke's on him. She is going to be dead, you idiot. Yeah. This guy doesn't understand what it means to be a vampire. I mean, listen, I agree with him.
Now, and then she says sorry for saying that, and they kind of fight. Now we cut to the weird dude just freely walking around in Bella's room and looking over Charlie.
Listen, apparently their house is super easy to get into.
Wait a second. Hold on a second. This guy's the new big bad vampire and Alice doesn't see him creeping on her house?
Here's the thing, Dan. I don't think Alice really has powers. I think she's making it up. Okay? I think she's guessing, and sometimes she just happens to be right. Because there are a lot of holes in her powers that I don't understand.
Yes, like very dangerous holes. Like this dude could just walk into her house. She could have been there. Who knows?
And nobody knows. I mean, not only that, but doesn't Edward read minds? So like, how does nobody? How does
you got to be standing in front of him for to read your mind?
All right, I guess so.
So Bella gets home. Edward's there. He smells the dude, and he's all, "Dude's been here." And then
dude's been here.
Then they take her to the Cullens, and then they're like, "We gotta guard Bella, but no." And then they're like, they're gonna take her to Jake's Wolf Boys. Is that, or the Jake's Wolf Boys are on the case looking for the guy? I guess. Yeah. Oh yeah, that we set up this whole thing that makes absolutely no sense, which is the werewolves are gonna have to guard her because the vampires have to spend so much time hunting.
Yes.
Their food, which is just animals. Is that what
listen,
they do?
They don't. I don't know, because they're like, yeah, we're going on a hunting trip and we won't be here because we have to feed. How rare do they eat? First of all, I don't understand. Usually, vampires got to eat a bunch. You know what I'm saying?
There would be. I mean, ostensibly, they're eating deer, right?
Yeah, monsters. Yeah.
It would take them about 30 minutes to find a deer, eat a deer, and then come back. It would they move at 1,000 miles an hour. They can do anything. There's a big pile of dead deer that they're going to be like.
Well, see, and that's the problem. Is I think that they have to go deep into the wilderness so that they don't accrue suspicion by killing all the local deers. Right? I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah, I'm just saying, if I'm a vampire, I'm not going to kill the deer in my own neighborhood, right? I'm going to go somewhere else, kill a bunch of deer, and then I'm going to come back and no one knows where I came from. I don't know.
I wrote, doesn't he own a shirt? So I guess Jacob's not wearing a shirt?
Yeah, Jacob never wears a shirt anymore. He doesn't wear a shirt anymore, and thank God that they realized that was the right move. Every time he's on the screen, I'm like, dang it, you look good. I love this kid. I love him. I hope that he's very happy because his, career didn't go so great, but I hope that he's happy. I know that he's married. I hope they're having a great time. I wish him the best. I hope he made a bunch of money off these movies, a ton.
I'm sure he made a lot of money off these
movies. I hope so.
So he says, come to a party, but instead of a party, it's a council meeting. And they're like, we're going to tell you the secret history of the tribes. You're the only one we've ever told this to.
Yeah, there's got to be a rule about this, Dan. This is very weird. These are like deep, dark trade ancient secrets that they're just telling this white girl. I don't think this is allowed.
It doesn't make any... It doesn't make any sense because she hasn't done anything for them and she doesn't mean anything to them.
And she's not becoming a wolf. Like, it makes it seem like her choice is between a vampire and becoming a wolf. And they're like, well, we want you to know your options first. It's like, no. Her option is stay like she is or become a vampire. Wolf's got nothing to do with it. Why are we telling her wolf secrets? Well, she's not going to become a wolf. I don't know, man.
So they tell about the first vampire werewolf fight. They tear apart the dude, and then the dude has a wife, and the wife comes into their thing, is killing everybody. And then one of the third wife of the chief sacrificed herself to distract the vampire so they can kill the lady vampire. We got
to talk about this.
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, I love that. That's like one of my favorite things of the movie.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
Why did she kill herself?
Oh, because by letting her blood, it invoked the bloodlust.
I got a lot
vampire.
of ways. I got a ton of ways to get blood out of my body where I don't die. What are you doing? What an idiotic move. I'm going to save my husband by bleeding, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out my own insides. Slit your wrist, girl.
It worked.
Just give a little nick right here. It'll bleed for days. Why it upsets me the most.
Should have gone shaving.
Just because that's how they cut you all the time over there. Bella does the same thing. There's a callback at the end of the movie. Guess what she does, Dan? She cuts her arm a little and bleeds a little.
She
cuts her own throat and dies, bleeds out in the snow. No, she cuts her arm and bleeds down her arm, and that's enough. Because that's all you need. It's a vampire. They're idiots.
Now, did you know that was going to happen when they showed us this, that she was going to have to use that later?
No, but when they used it later, I got more mad because that's just bad storytelling. That one girl decided to end her own life, and the other one's like, yeah, I'll just prick my finger. I'll just do a little blood, my diabetes test. Prick my finger. That'll be enough. Stupid.
That's going to be Tony's favorite. No, the next scene after this scene is Tony's favorite scene.
Oh, okay. Is it?
Stupid dude building an army. You're like, okay, whatever. Don't care.
Sure. Yeah.
The next scene, it's her and Edward again. And she's all like, what am I going to tell people when I'm a vampire? And he's like, after a few decades, problem solved.
Yeah.
He says it's like so coldly. Just like...
Well, it would make more sense if he was older. He's only 100. He's really only been through that once. You know what I mean? Ostensibly one time. But if he was hundreds of 400 to 500 years old and he's gone through 6 or 7 rotations of his people dying, you would get callous. You would get cold about it. Yeah. It should still be pretty fresh for a guy that's only been through it maybe once, maybe twice.
Well, and they immediately start kissing after that. And she kind of goes, gets kind of mad at him. And you're just like...
She has problems.
Yes, these are the things that you make your she's lying to him. She's like, go fuck yourself. Yes. She says something like that. She should go crazy on his ass. And should
Charlie,
be reconsidering
I just want to say again, Charlie is a great guy and a great father, and she doesn't give a shit about him. This movie is the reason I don't have kids. All right? They're so ungrateful, Dan. He's given her everything, and she's like, nah, fuck you, Chuck. I'm out.
So, boom. She goes to see Jake in the lake country. Very beautiful.
Yeah, for sure.
He's like, I got to tell you the truth. I love you. Choose me. I'm not giving up.
Now, Dan.
And he says something really good. You wouldn't have to change for me. Feel my flesh, my warm blood, and then he forces a kiss on her.
Right. Maybe not the right move. The last part.
Yes.
You know what you should do? Just make her feel your pecs. You know what I mean? That's innocent enough, but also like, hello. That would totally work. The kissing is too much. It's too much, Jake. You blew it. I have a question for you, Dan.
Yeah.
He brought her to this place and then confesses his love as if it's a revelation. I have something I need to tell you. I love you. Dude, we know. She knows. Everybody knows. Everybody knows you're in love with her. Why is this a scene?
I see what you're saying, but I also say this is his he's making his big pitch. He's saying, I love you. Pitch. You don't have to change for me. Nothing has to change. You just have to be yourself. And once again, I will say she's really terrible in this movie. Just because there's only one scene where she reacts like a human being. And I don't know if that's
this is the happiest I've ever been in my life. I'm so thrilled.
It's really sad because I don't... really sad. It's like, that's what you want. You want her to like be conflicted by these things and have her... You want her to browbeat over these concepts. And, the concepts are it's super interesting. It's like,
Well, super interesting.
Well, they could be interesting.
I'm kidding.
If they were explored. But they don't explore them.
Well, they're written terribly. Do you think this is when does she cheat on Robert Pattinson with the director guy? Isn't she going through this exact situation in her real life? I don't know. Super
is
weird.
that what happened in the movie? I mean,
in
real
real
life?
life. Yeah, I was like, in the movie. No, yeah, because they're together, and then she hooks up with. Is it the Hunts? When she's like Snow White, I think I could be starting a rumor that's not true now. She sleeps with a director that's way older than her, and then has to leaves Robert Pattinson for. Yeah, okay. I should have done research. Now I feel like
I'd forgotten all
Kristen Stewart affair. Yeah. Talks about Pants. Rupert Sanders. I don't know who that is, but that's the guy. So whatever he directed, that's who she had an affair with.
I think it was the Huntsman movie. It sounds right.
Okay.
But
yeah. But anyhow, I want because she's got. Maybe that's what's happening now, and she just can't go there emotionally because she's also feeling real life. I don't know. Just a theory.
So, now wait. Does she punch him right after she makes the kiss, or does she punch him later?
No, she punches him, bro. Because it's my favorite scene in the movie is coming up. So she pushes him off, slugs him, and hurts her hand.
So the boys then face off, and Ed's getting all pissed off, and then Dad intervenes. I don't know which dad that was.
Charlie.
It was Charlie. Okay. And then her hand is broken from punching her face. And then...
Hold on. So, Dan, this is my favorite scene in the movie. So let's take it. Let's take it. So Taylor Lautner brings her home. Eddie's there waiting, and he's fuming. He gets up his face, and he's like, if you ever touch her against her will again, I'll do whatever. And then Jacob, it's like, she doesn't know what she wants. You can't say that. That's not, you forced yourself on her. You can't say that. It's not allowed. But, I'll forgive him because I love him. So then they're like pushing and yelling, and then Charlie just comes out and gets to him. He's like, whoa, guys, let's take it down a notch.
Whoa. Hey.
Like, these are two ferocious animals that'll kill each other. And Charlie's just like, guys, come on now. I love it. It's a wonderful moment.
We're in the middle of a movie. Let's crank that down to 2.
Let's bring it down. There's too much tension. Bring it on down. But then Taylor Lautner delivers the best line of the movie, and Charlie's like, "What happened?" And he's like, "I kissed Bella, and she broke her hand punching me in the face." It's just so good. It was a really nice moment. I love Taylor Lautner. Have I said that on here before? I love this kid.
Friend of the show, Taylor Lautner. We love
Friend of the show, T-Lot. Get on here, buddy.
So now we're back at the Cullens house, and Daddy Cullens looks at her hand and says it's not broken. And then we get Rose is like, says that Rose is the blonde Cullens who like never gets to do it. She voted against Bella. It's
hardly a part of this movie, and now all of a sudden she's a big part for a minute, and then she disappears again.
Yeah, she just comes in and she's like, I envy you because you have a choice and you're choosing wrong. And we get her flashback where she has like a boyfriend, and then the boyfriend introduces her drunk to her friends, and then they just decide to rape her
and leave her for dead.
And then leave her for dead. Then a vampire comes along, turns into a vampire. So then she puts on a wedding dress and goes and kills them all.
Which, first of all, that's a movie I want to see. That's basically a John Wick type of movie, but with a vampire. I could not be more into this. Here's my problem, Dan. The scene starts, what's her name? Rose? So he said? Yeah. With Rose being like, because Kristen Stewart's like, my life, no life is perfect, blah, blah, blah. And Rose is like, mine was. I was this and that and that. And then I was raped and left for dead. I miss those days. I want to be human again. What are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense. Your life was horrible. You had the worst thing in the world happen to you. How could you not see that? It's so
for a minute, her life was perfect. And it turns out her husband actually a drunk and a rapist.
Dan, I lost my shit when this hit. How could you can't say your life is perfect, stay human, even though the worst thing imaginable happened. But if I was a vampire, I could have stopped it immediately. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make a lick of sense. Bad storytelling.
Rose's other big thing, I never get to have kids.
Yeah. So
I get that.
So I guess that's to me, I was like, oh, okay, so Kristen Stewart doesn't become a vampire, at least not yet, because she has a baby in which a werewolf mates with it. So, I guess there's that.
I think she gets turned while she's pregnant.
Oh, okay.
I'm
excited to see how this unfolds.
Yeah, I know you're excited to see that because you're a fucking weirdo.
You know what? I don't think it's that weird. I feel like if never mind. We don't have to talk about it. It's not that weird. It's evolution. Okay.
And then Bella spits out the line, there's nothing I'll ever want more than Edward.
Except for I don't want to marry him. So what? What's happening? I don't understand.
So boom, we see some more vampire mayhem, and then we see the bigger bads of the movie, which are the Volturi Jr., which is Pain Jane and these three other dudes who just stand around.
We don't know, right? We don't were they in the Volturi scenes earlier?
No.
Okay, I was really confused.
Pain Jane was there, but
she's there, but her cronies, I feel like, are out of nowhere. Okay.
I don't know.
As long as I didn't miss anything super important.
So we do graduation, and Anna Kendrick gives a great speech.
Yeah, because A, she's a great actor, and B, it has nothing to do with the movie, so they could make it good.
They have the party at the Cullens house. It's like 1,000 kids. The wolves show up, and they're all like, "Dump, dump, dump." Jake's there to say, "I'm sorry." And what does he give her as a present?
The ugliest wolf pendant in the world. But my favorite part is he's like, I made this. What do you mean you made it?
No.
You made a little tiny wolf?
No. She says, "You made this?" I think she brings it up.
She inferred it. Okay. I hope he didn't really make it. I hope he just bought it at a corner store, and then she was like, "Did you make it?" He's like, "Yeah." Yeah, totally.
I think she says, "You made this?" Like it's amazing, and it's like not even an inch long, and it's tiny. It's like it is not impressive. It is weak.
It's the basic shape of a wolf, so you get the idea. Oh, it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Boom! Alice has another premonition. They got 4 days. You're on the clock. You're on the Dan Goodsell clock. After an hour of movie, you're finally on the clock.
Yeah, you got to get to the clock earlier because the clock needs to move this movie along, and we're getting to the clock too late.
Now we get to do the training session.
Oh boy, this is some good stuff, Dan. What do you think what are they training for? What are they learning in this?
Well, they don't coordinate their fighting at all.
Yes, I know the answer.
Well, hold on. Before they do the training, she rubs in Edward's face the wolf charm. She's like,
"Yep, yeah. Oh, look at this. Oh boy. Oh my goodness.
She doesn't put it on around her neck where it's a little bit hidden. His face.
Yeah, no, scratch. You like the scratch thing, and you're like, "Oh, what's that on your? Oh, this old thing." It's great. It's great stuff.
Okay, talk about how they train together.
I don't understand what they're even training for. They're not doing anything, Dad. They basically just run at each other and then push they're not learning anything. Jasper is supposed to be teaching them how to deal with newborns. From what I can tell, you just kill them. That's it. You just got to kill them. There's no real tactic. You just have to go for it.
What about when Alice and Jasper fight?
Oh, it gets a little sexy. I like it.
Can't touch this. Can't touch this. I'm like, oh my god, she's so.
He's gonna touch it. I'll tell you that right now.
Then he touches it.
What is the beefy Cullen's name? I can't remember.
I don't know what his name is.
He's awful in this movie.
Well, because he seems like he's a giant prick.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but didn't he get like a Hercules movie after these movies or something? I feel like they tried to make him a thing. He's not the one I would pick.
We should
That's
watch
all I'm going to say.
Whatever movie that is, we should watch that movie.
Okay, yeah, we'll find. You know what? We'll do it right after Twilight month. That'll be the way we cleanse our palate. But yeah, they tried to give him like a franchise movie.
Nice.
Weird choice. He's not who I would pick out of this group of people. That's all I'm going to say about it.
No. Jasper's never lost a fight. Bella pets Jake in his wolf form.
Yeah, that's weird, right? And when she did that, it's got to be demeaning. One, how is it not though? You're a pet. I'm a fucking werewolf, lady. I will eat your hand off. You don't pet me.
Pet me.
But and I'm the freak, and I'm the freak here, huh? Oh boy.
Because I was asking Shannon about that, and I was like, you're a teenage girl, love vampires. It's like, if I had my choice, werewolf, hot werewolf girl, turns into a
I'm
wolf.
okay with it. Yeah, you like that the ferocity that
big
comes
dog.
with it. I like, oh sure, the big dog. You do love dogs though. You're a big dog person.
I love dogs.
Yeah, I would be, a hot lady vampire. You've watched what's the vampire show on HBO? Well, I can't remember what that's called all of a sudden.
True Blood?
Sookie. Yeah. The Pam. Yeah.
Pam?
She's with Eric. She's like Eric's friend, basically. They run the bar. It doesn't really matter. If you've watched the show, you know who Pam is. If you're a big fan.
I've watched the whole show. I can't remember who she is.
Yeah. She's
Pam? She's the one?
Yeah,
oh my God, Tony.
Pam, man. Pam!
Tony, you're a freak. Pam.
Yes, sir.
Pamela Ravenscroft was her name.
Yeah, that's her.
Okay.
She's great.
Great. Boom. Where are we at? Okay, so the training, whatever. We do another flashback. Oh, we do the Jasper flashback where the sexy lady vampires. And I don't even.
It doesn't even really make sense.
Yeah, and then Bella has a vision, and it's like Jasper betraying them. It was really weird, and I don't
even remember this.
I really thought Jasper was going to betray them in this fight.
Because he's a racist. That way.
He's racist. And then Jake carries her up to mask her scent.
Okay, you need to teach me things about the wilderness for me. How does this mask her scent? Because her scent is still there. Yeah,
because he's a stinky wolf. That's the whole idea.
But then why does he also have to carry her?
Because then he's carrying her, and that's hot.
You're not wrong. I do like the ease that he just lifts her, and guaranteed they're just like, yeah, can you do it again? Taylor's like, yeah, I could do it all day, bro, all day. And he just lifts her and walks. He's not even. What's wild is they're doing decently long scenes where he's carrying a human. He's not even breathing heavy. I would be like huffing and puffing, man. This guy is so fit.
It's pretty sexy. I mean,
I love it.
When they interact, it's sexy.
Here's my biggest problem with the movie, Dan. They have way more chemistry in every scene they do than Edward and Bella. To me, it's not even close to me. And part of it is probably because their relationship is a little not antagonistic, but they do have that tension where it's like, we can't, but we kind of want to. So that does help, other than the whole, like, I just love you so much, I love you, which is not interesting.
It's true. Bella and Edward's relationship is set. And so it's boring. Yeah. It's
very boring.
A married relationship. They do some kissing and you're like, oh, well, I mean, it's okay. It didn't seem bad to me.
Great.
But it's not.
Let me tell you one thing. I don't want to kiss Robert Pattinson after seeing these movies. You know who I want to kiss? I'm going to kiss the shit out of Taylor Lautner.
Woo! So the greatest thing is he does this carry, and then you realize, oh, this is just the test carry. He's not even actually carrying her for the. I'm like, oh, this is a test carry. They're not doing.
They're just making sure it's going to work.
Because now we have 14 scenes where we're in and about town. I was like, wait, I thought they were going to do the thing. No.
No. This was just making sure that the plan's going to work, but I can't wait to talk about the plan. Oh, boy.
So, boom, back at home, Bella and Dad. Alice is leaving. He's like, I like Alice. She's great. I hate Edward. You're like, we get it, because Alice is great.
Yeah, 100%.
And then we do the sex talk, and then she's like, "I'm a virgin." Very uncomfortable. Felt like a real sex talk.
100%. It's a wonderful scene. They both knock it out of the park. And again, I love him so much. Charlie is such a great character.
You get embarrassed for both of them. You flash back to your own feelings at that moment. You're like, I don't want to be here.
100%.
Get me away from this.
I don't know why this scene is written better than every other scene in the movie, but it is.
Then she goes to the Cullens' house, which is empty because they're giving them space or time or something.
And this is where it becomes super weird for me.
I mean, when he gives her the present, talk about his present to her.
Wait, what's his present? Is his penis? Oh no, he gives her like what is his pendant? Basically,
what is it? We can barely even see it.
Okay. I thought I was losing
here. It
mind.
is. Oh, there it is. Gone. Like,
there it is.
Give us a close up. Show us what the goddamn thing is. I believe it's a little crystal heart. I think that's what it is.
You think that's what it is? I'll believe you.
I did not get a good enough look at it to swear
it just made me laugh so hard because basically he's so jealous that she has this ugly ass wolf pendant on her hand that she's like, yeah, I want to be represented on your arm too. So here's another ugly thing to put on your wrist. Nobody wants to wear these charms. Charm bracelets are not cool, I don't think, anymore. I don't believe that that's the case.
They're not. And then he goes upstairs, and now there's a bed in his room, which, of course, we haven't been in his room in 2 movies, so we're supposed to remember that in the first movie, he didn't have a bed in there because he doesn't have to sleep.
No, I guess that does make sense. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a thing they
Okay,
explain.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. So he's got this giant bed in there now, and she's like, a bed. And then I wrote, let's do sex.
So
I want to get marriage.
Okay. The scene before this, Dan. The scene before this, she's talking to her dad, and she's like, I'm a virgin. Don't worry about it, Dad. And then immediately she's like, but I don't want to be. I want to go have sex. Talking with my dad about sex has really turned me on, and now I want to go have sex. There needs to be at least one scene in the middle here to buffer those two things, because she went from talking to Charlie about not having sex to being like, I'm going to need to get it right now because that got me hot and bothered. It is so weird. It gets weirder. So, okay.
But the scene gets
Basically, she's like throwing herself at him, and he's like, nah, let's not do this. Are you telling me that in 107 years, he hasn't done it? That's so I'm confused, Dan.
He's done it tons.
And he's like, I want to wait for marriage to make it more special. But no, dude, you can't. What are you, born again virgin? What's going on here? He's had so much vamp sex in the last 100 years. And now he's just like, but not with you. But not with you.
But get to the good part of the scene. What's the good part of the scene, Tony?
I don't know. What's the good part of the scene? Where she's basically like, I'll marry you if you bone me right now?
No. He then spends 5 minutes explaining to her how what he wanted to do, what he wants to do is to court her and ask her dad and do this and do that and do this. And you're like,
yes.
You're explaining to this in like this clinical way. And I'm just like, why aren't you doing any of these things? I don't understand.
But here's the thing, Dan. He's getting aroused by it. Did you not realize that?
No.
Because he's like, and I would get down on one knee and I would ask you to marry. And he is fully erect. This is his foreplay, is telling a girl how he wants to court it. Not doing the courting. That's too much work. But if I just tell you about it, I'm getting all hot and bothered under my vamp collar here. It's very weird. This whole scene is stupid. It's dumb.
Then he gives her a ring, which she doesn't even put on because she puts it on later.
Well, because she doesn't want to put it on because she doesn't want people to know, because she's making a horrible choice. She is making a huge mistake, and she doesn't want people to know about it.
That's so weird. And then she says yes.
Yeah, Dan, it's weird.
You want to talk about how she says yes?
No. What does she do?
She just goes, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yes. It felt pretty uneventful. I guess that's why I didn't write anything down.
It was like I know I'm a monster. You know, I'm not human. I have no human emotions for the most part, except like
of course.
if I see a cute dog or something in a movie, I might cry or something.
That's more than human, Dan. Okay. It's not your fault.
She does not have human emotions about this thing. I mean, I empathize with that because of how I am, but I don't think that's what most people in the world, their typical reaction to something like this. I think they would.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dan, listen, and I'll get in trouble if she can hear me right now, but I spent 6 months drawing a hand cartoon, stick figures, and it's kind of like a traversal through a relationship. It's not great, but it took me 6 months to get this thing done. I slip it in the DVD player during our movie night, and I played it, and then I was like, so you want to get married? And she's like, sure. It was a tough night. All right.
How much did you cry, Tony?
At the moment, none. Later, a whole bunch. Just watching my own video again, I was like, "It's pretty good, guy. It's pretty good."
So, Tony courted himself. You see, that's the whole problem with courting is you court yourself, and the other person they may not care. They may not care.
They want something totally different. You don't know. You don't know what they want. You're just doing your best here.
Oh my God. Okay. Stupid dude is in love with Victoria. Whatever, don't care. She's not wearing the engagement ring. And then the vampires jump into the water, which doesn't mean anything. But
no, it's a total ripoff of Pirates of the Caribbean. Because they're walking on the bottom of the water and then coming up through the lake. It's the same scene in Pirates when he's like, all hands to the boats. Oh, not to the boats. Gents, take a walk. And it's so much better in that movie because they're not. Why are they doing it? They're not even.
No reason.
Where are they? There's nobody on either side of the lake. Who are they going? I don't.
They could just walk there. They could just walk to where they're going.
The shortest way to get somewhere is a straight line, Dan. All right? They're just thinking logically.
So they take Bella up to the tent to hide her. It's in the snow, and she immediately starts freezing to death.
Guys, what kind of a plane? She doesn't bring extra clothes. Nobody tells her where she's going. Bring extra clothes. Can we do a fire? Can we not do a fire here? What's going on? I don't understand anything, Dan. But they're just letting her die, basically. What a bunch of idiots.
So, Jacob has to crawl in there with her, and Edward has to watch as he crawls in there with her. And I was disappointed that he didn't crawl in there as a wolf because that's how I would have done it. That would have been
of course,
hot.
But that skin to skin. That's you're supposed to stay warm. My body. Tell you what,
a 16-foot long wolf is going to keep you warmer than one Taylor Lautner, as muscled as he is. No,
maybe I don't know. I don't know science. I'll tell you what. I'll keep anybody warm. All right, I got a lot of warmth to give. Now, Dan, do you also wish that we could hear Jacob's thoughts, or that at least Edward was reacting to Jacob's thoughts? Listen to this. This guy,
he should be able to hear all his thoughts.
He hears everything. He's basically naked, holding on to her. He's, again, fully erect, without a doubt. Right? It's not possible, Dan. I'm sorry. This kid's in love with her. He's wanted her for years. It is not possible that he's not.
They should have had a scene where they're like together and then she just gets pushed up.
It's very slowly. Like, what's happening? What's going on here?
Why am I moving? Why is she moving? Why is she moving? That's me. But you're not moving. Well, yeah.
You better believe I am. Why isn't there more tension? They're talking about how they would like each other if they weren't both in love with the same woman. There's no way that he's not having dirty thoughts right now.
Well, more importantly, no. Edward says, "I'd like you if you weren't a stinky wolf boy," and then he's like, "I wouldn't like you."
Well, sure, because you're still a dick. You're still not a cool guy, Eddie.
Okay. Then we do the list of favorite things scene, and Edward's only one is, we're getting married.
Yep. What a dullard.
So Jake's like, I'm going to leave. I'm going to go kill something. And then she's like, Jake, stay. And then she's like, I don't want to lose you. And then he's like, whatever. And then she's like, Jacob, kiss me. This part was very emotional. Like, it's like she gave a shit about something.
Yeah, which is bizarre because she doesn't.
She's like, just, I love Edward more. She loves him, but she loves Edward, like, really
Yeah, but
she's
why?
Like, loves.
He sucks. Hey, vampires.
I don't. This was the scene that I was like, she should have been with Jake at the end of this movie.
She always should be with Jake, in my opinion. But here's the thing, Dan. Just going once again to the kissing. This is a hot kiss. This kiss has passion behind it on both sides. And
it's a real kiss.
It's a real kiss, and I liked it. I'm just going to tell you right now, I was a little bit like, okay, see, this is what I'm talking about.
Well, that's what I said when I liked the second half of the movie, or the ending of the movie, or whatever. This part, I was like, this is a good scene.
Yeah.
And then we followed up with the fight scene. I love the fight scene. Fight scene was great.
I don't know about that. I think we should have had somebody else come in and direct the fight scenes. I think they could be better.
Oh, okay.
I think they could be better. But I mean, listen, it's not bad. I didn't get mad. I didn't want to turn it off, but I was like, it could be cooler. We got people flying around and shit. It should be cooler.
I love it when they kill the vampires. They just like things just break off. It's really interesting.
Right, interesting. Sure. Why? What's happening? Why do they just break? I don't understand.
I don't know, because they're
you don't know, but you find it interesting. I find it confusing. I don't even know. I don't understand what's happening. You break a hand off and it's like jagged as if it's diamond or ice or something. What's happening, Dan? Yeah, you should tell me.
Because they sparkle. They're made out of crystal. They're no longer human beings.
I guess they are. I don't understand it. But, it's fine.
So Victoria has their scent. Edward.
Now what? Why? How does she have their scent, Dan? Why don't you tell me?
Because maybe she was peeing a little.
No, because she followed Edward's scent, and she's like,
she followed Edward's.
They'll probably be together. Hello? How is that not part of your plan? If she can follow Edward's scent, how is that your plan to then have them together? If you're going to hide her scent, she needs to be either alone or still hidden. You can't be with someone that they can follow the scent to, especially your boyfriend. This is the dumbest plan in the history of the planet, and I wish that they all would have died, except for Jacob.
And then this fight's kind of boring. This fight's kind of dumb.
At the top of the hill between the four of them. It's boring until the end. Because
what'd you like at the end?
Well, some magic shit happens, Stan. It seems like Edward bites her neck, and then her head falls off.
Her head just cracks off.
It just falls off. He bites her neck, and then her head falls off. Just pops right off. What's happening? What's going on here, Dan? I don't understand anything. Not that
it looked cool.
Her
body laying there with her head cracked off. I was like, cool. That's creepy as shit.
That looked great. Maybe have him tear it off. Or something that makes more sense. Instead, he just nibbles on it and it just pops off. That doesn't make any sense. Doink.
It's like a pop-top can. You just pulled right at the right spot.
It's so stupid. So dumb.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Then we go back down to the field. The werewolves run away, and then the good guys are all standing there, and then the Voltari Jr. and Paige Jade show up.
Yeah.
And Jake got hurt. Then after they show up, then Jake gets hurt.
Yeah.
By
some just a rando. Yeah, just a rando vamp that. Real dumb.
No, that's before the Voltari show up. Okay, and they have to drag Jake away.
Yeah.
And then, so the Voltari are all like, what's going on here? And they're like, how'd you do this? Blah, blah, blah. We're boring. And then there's one young vampire left, and then they go and kill that one.
Yeah, which,
just like whatever.
Well, because, she's the bad guy. So she has to clean up the loose ends. I liked it because they're like trying to protect the young vamp, and they're like, "Whoa, give her a shot. She's so young, she doesn't know what she's doing." And they're like, "Well, no, we got to kill her because she might know that we're the bad guys." It's cool. It's fine.
Then we're back at the cabin, and then they just wander off because
that's what they do.
Who knows? And then we're back at Wolf Cabin. Jake is in pain, and then Dr. Cullen comes out and says, "Oh, he'll be all right." And
which
then
is great.
We see that the vampires and the werewolves are like actually now
they shake
along,
hands, which is nice. That. Yeah, I agree. I like it.
It was a positive result from all this mess, and typically you'd be like, "Oh, Bella's the one that's going to unite everybody," but instead she unintentionally unites them in a positive way. We're like, "Oh, some good is coming out of her stupidity." And then she goes in there and sees Jake, and because he got his bones crushed, so they have to re-crush the bones so they can heal correctly.
Yeah, you got to reset the bones.
Painful. And then she's all like, "He's not as perfect as you think." And you're
what
like,
does that mean?
He keeps pitching that there's something
darker,
subtly
sinister
more wrong than him than already's wrong with him. Which everything about him is wrong. So
I don't understand it either. It better come out in the next 2 movies. Tell you that much.
And then we go back to the field and we start the wedding planning, and Alice is going to do the wedding.
Well, hold on. I want to just real quickly, I want to hit this point one more time as she's leaving Jake, because he's like, "I need more time, but I'll always be waiting," which is a nice little line. And then she goes, "Until my heart stops beating," as if like that's a knock on Jacob. You're killing yourself. You're becoming an undead monster. That is not on him. That he's not gonna still. I mean, he says he still might love you, but like that's not a shame on you for not liking who I am. No, you're a terrible human being, horrible person.
And I mean, really, the only reason she should be explaining why she wants to be a vampire is because she wants to be with Edward forever.
Without getting married, though.
Isn't that the truth? But isn't that the true
100%?
That she needs to be making?
Yeah, because
and she never makes that.
No, the pitch she makes is like, "I don't feel right in my life. I've never felt like I belonged, so I'm just gonna kill myself and become an outcast." Nope, doesn't make any sense. Nope.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, you could buy that in the beginning movies, but
she's got a group of friends that are very supportive of her, even though she barely hangs out with them. They all seem to still like her, which is great. She's got a supportive father, real sweet guy. She's got a pretty supportive mother. Just because they're divorced doesn't mean they don't love her. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
kids are the worst. That's the motto of this movie.
So next week we're going to start with the big 2-part finale, which is
Breaking Dawn, part 1 and 2.
And we'll see where this is heading. I mean, it's got to be a lot of Volturi. It's got to be a lot of Volturi. It better be bullshit.
Because that's the only plot line that's kind of through the thing, and we really need it to come together.
I mean, I really want to leave Forks at all costs, but the only interesting person, it's like, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see in a week.
Something interesting happening.
Very exciting stuff, Dan.
Yeah. Very, very exciting stuff. Tony, what do you got for us this week?
Well, Dan, we didn't see anything new, but I just want to... I've started playing this new game that you've never heard of, and it's called Pikmin Bloom, and we're obsessed.
Started playing Pikmin Bloom?
We finally started playing. We're obsessed with it. We should... are you teammates with people to do the weekly challenges?
We should have added you to our weekly challenge.
Yeah, we should get on it.
We'll do that next week.
Yeah, we should get on it. Are you doing the 100,000 or the 30,000s?
We usually just do the lighter one.
Sure, us too, but maybe together we could push it to the 100K. I mean, we'll start slow, but
we used to be able to. We used to do the 100K when Shannon did a lot on the bike, but she's not been doing a lot of bike lately, so we haven't done the 100K.
Got it.
Next week for sure, we'll find you and we'll all join together on the big
Blue. Yes. I love it. I'm ready.
I got 2 things. We went and saw Asteroid City at the movie theater. Go see that movie. I am not a person who typically says this. See it on the movie screen because it is one of the most visually interesting movies I've ever seen. I loved it.
Interesting. Okay, yeah. Did Todd talk to you at all? about it?
He loved it. Yeah.
Todd messaged me and he was like, hey, I know that you're not excited. You don't love Wes Anderson, but you should see this movie. So I'm going to see it. I'm going to see it in theaters.
It's pretty amazing. Pretty darn amazing. Yeah, definitely my favorite of his films.
Okay, good.
I like Tannenbaum's, but this maybe not the greatest. It's a weird movie because it doesn't have, there's not a lot of plot exactly.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, you're not looking for your classic story arc, but there's just so many interesting things in this movie.
Okay. I'm excited.
Then we started watching Jury Duty.
Oh God, I want to watch it so bad, Dan.
I think Todd recommended it to me. I think he was the one who told me about
Cyclops. Love Cyclops.
He's James Marsden.
Yeah.
So good.
Why
everything
isn't
about the
he
show.
The biggest movie star on the planet? I love him so much. He's so charming. He's beautiful. I mean, Sonic. Oh God, he's good. I'm excited.
How have you not watched this yet?
We're in the middle of so many shows, and I don't like to start new shows until we finish old shows. I'm not good at watching multiple things. So it's my fault. It's entirely my fault.
So confusing.
My brain is very simple, Dan, and I need a linear story.
But I think one of the girls that plays the prosecuting attorney was a Groundlings person.
That is correct.
That is her?
Yep. Sure is.
I know. I keep waiting for like maybe some other people I know to show up. I'm like,
yeah. Not me.
But I'm not in it. Oh, that's great. Yeah, and she's great. She has some funny lines.
Oh, good.
They're just, they lampoon a bunch of stuff.
I'm pretty excited about it.
There are some incredibly funny bits. And then even when it isn't super funny, you're like, this is interesting. And everybody really commits to it.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta commit full bore. Yeah. I'm very excited to see it.
And because the basic premise is it's a whole setup where only one person is real and everybody around him is actors and they're doing a jury duty. And the guy they picked was just such a perfect
device. Okay. That's good. I don't know how you pull something like this off. I can't wait to see it. I'm very excited.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So I guess next week we're just heading back into Twilight for another 2 weeks, and then we'll be done, and then maybe we'll do the Hercules movie with the Twilight dude, which would be very fun.
It will. Yeah, you're right about that. I'm excited. Well,
anything else you have to add, Tony?
I don't think so. This was another great installment of the Twilight Saga. I'm having a good time. I know I knock it a lot, but I'm having a great time with it.
And these are interesting movies to look at and try to understand what the hell is going on with them.
Amen to that. Amen. And we'll move on to the finales.
Yeah. So if you like what you see, give us a thumbs up. You can leave us a comment or feel free to subscribe, and we'll be back next week talking about more Twilight.
Breaking Dawn. Goodbye, everybody.
Hey, watch him with Dan and Tony.